Hi and welcome to today's video by Study Unifees. Today's video is part of and a continuation of our series Navigating the US Student Visa Interview. Today, we'll be talking about one of the most important questions in the visa interview. This question is about your finances. There are various ways in which this question can be asked. For instance, you could be asked who is your sponsor and what do they do? More importantly, and more commonly, you could also be asked, how do your sponsors plan to pay for everything while you're a student in the United States? First, let's talk about who your sponsors really are. Members of your immediate family are the best sponsors. That means your biological father, your biological mother, or an elder sibling. Your close relatives can sponsor you too. For instance, your maternal aunt or uncle could sponsor you. But this is not as good an option as having your parents or an elder sibling sponsor you. A family friend can also sponsor you, but this is only a last option. In some, it is preferable to have your parents, or in some cases, even an elder sibling sponsor you. Remember that a combination of individuals within your immediate family can also sponsor you. That means both your parents and an elder sibling. You will probably be asked about what your sponsors do. Go into the interview with a lot of clarity about exactly what your parents or your sponsors do. Be very clear when speaking about their employment. Be also very clear when you're talking about what kind of business they run if they're entrepreneurs. This too is a common part of the interview, being asked what your sponsor's income is. Most sponsors will have multiple sources of income. For instance, they could have income from business, also income from rentals, and also income from share premiums. Make sure you articulate this in a very clear manner. Put the major income sources first and the minor income sources later. Now, you could also be asked, once the visa officer has a clear idea of what your total family or sponsor income is, they may also ask you what funds are left over after paying for everything. To answer this question, first, you must be very clear on what your expenses are. This means not just tuition, but also living expenses and incidental expenses like insurance, books, and so on. Next, you must also have a very clear idea of what your total family or sponsor income is. Do the math and figure out how much is remaining for your family once they have paid for all your expenses. There should not be too much of a difference in the funds available for the maintenance of your family. For instance, if your family income is X and half of X is going towards paying for your education in the USA, such a differential will not be seen as favorable. To solve this problem, the best solution is a student loan. Remember, most student loans do not require to be paid back until you finish your studies and start earning yourself. The bigger advantage with a student loan is that you do not have to demonstrate that you can afford to pay for your studies. The loan does that. All you have to demonstrate is your ability or your sponsor's ability to pay back the loan. A lot of students go for the visa interview with their bank statements. The bank statements usually have a large sum in a single deposit, say a month, a couple of months, or even longer ago. This is not really a true reflection of your financial circumstances. Several questions could arise. Firstly, what is the origin of these funds? Where did this money come from? If you too are going in with a bank statement with large deposits, 1 month, a couple of months, or slightly more, then make sure that you can convincingly answer the question that relates to where these funds came from. Another question is how you have planned to pay for everything once you are there. Remember, in the first year of your stay in the US as an international student, you are not allowed to work off campus. On-campus employment too is severely limited. Thus, you should be able to convince the visa officer that your family has the financial means to be able to pay for everything without the need arising for you to resort to part-time or full-time work. You must have a viable, a realistic, and a doable plan. Make sure you articulate this clearly. Now, some general advice regarding financial questions in the interview. Make sure your answers have a lot of clarity. To give your answers clarity, make sure your answers are well organized. Also, be as confident as possible during the interview. Thanks for watching this video. To watch the rest of the videos in this series about navigating tough questions on the US visa interview, like, share and subscribe. To get your study and US plans on track, or to get test prep plans like test prep plans for TOEFL, IELTS, SAT, GRE and GMAT on track, register for a free counseling session or a free mock class on www.studyunifees.io.